Hello and welcome to this next installment of the Rich Salad Show. We are back with another week of sweet topics in the film and TV industry. David, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Had a pretty interesting trailer drop this week.
Hmm.
Kind of that's how you do a trailer. Can't wait to get into
Yes,
it.
indeed. Multiple trailers we're talking about and some exciting news, which we will begin with this. We got some breaking news today. So we filmed this on Saturdays, and I was pleasantly surprised to hear this because we've been speculating, or there's some speculation in the film sphere about James Gunn's next Superman film, aka Superman and Lex Luthor film, Man of Tomorrow. We got some sweet news. James Gunn finds his Brainiac for Man of Tomorrow in Lars Eidinger. So, German actor Lars Eidinger will be Brainiac in James Gunn's Superman and Lex Luthor movie Man of Tomorrow, we hear. This is the first time that Brainiac, a very popular Superman villain in the comics next to Lex, will appear on the big screen. The character was created by writer Otto Binder and artist Al Plastino and made his debut in Action Comics 242. Brainiac is a really smart android who comes from the planet Kolu. He's hell-bent on collecting all the knowledge in the universe. What we know about Man of Tomorrow is that David Cornsweet's Man of Steel and Nicholas Holt's Luthor have to team up against a new threat in the galaxy. Wouldn't be surprised if Brainiac, who can shrink cities and destroy planets, in the comics the bad guy has a history of shrinking Superman's home planet Krypton, and in some storylines even destructed the place. So yeah, that's pretty much the headline, and super fascinating going into it because there's a lot of speculation who could play Brainiac. Actually, I'll start with this. David, have you heard of Brainiac? Are you aware of the character?
I am not. Looks like he's green.
He is green. Yeah, so my most recent memory with Brainiac is the game Injustice: Gods Among Us. I think he was in the
Oh, he
first
was
one.
in that game?
Yeah.
I have that game. I
You
guess I
do?
never got. Yeah, I do. I guess
Okay,
I
sweet.
remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was in the second one or the first one. Uh, but
Okay.
yeah, he's the big bad. And in terms of being on the big screen, he hasn't made his debut yet. He was on the show Krypton, which was like a Superman prequel that came out on I think Sci-Fi years ago. It was received like mixed for the most part, but I don't think it was received that poorly. But I know he was in that, and he had a pretty decent look on him. He looks more humanistic and very very neat. But yeah, with Man of Tomorrow, I think we're gonna get something pretty special because you got David Cornsweet Superman and Lex Luthor teaming up against, because Brainiac is a big bad. Like, he's usually, when you think of DC Comics, you think of Darkseid. Like, Darkseid is like the Thanos of DC Comics, and Brainiac is, I don't I don't read the comics, so I don't know, but I don't think he's as powerful as Darkseid. Darkseid is like the all powerful, but Brainiac is just as bad and just as evil. So yeah, going into Man of Tomorrow, there's speculation that there was news that came out, that there were lots of rumors that came out these past few weeks that Matt Smith could be Brainiac, that Sam Rockwell could be Brainiac, and even James Gunn came out and said, "Well, I never said Brainiac was in this film, nor did I ever say these actors were playing him." So that was just, I think, earlier this week, and then boom, here we go on Saturday. He drops the comment like, "Hey, we got this guy Lars coming in playing Brainiac," and I'm super excited about this because I looked up Lars and his filmography, and I'm not familiar with anything he's done, and so I think, and from what I've seen, it hasn't been anything like super notable. Like, I'm sure he does great work. I'm just not aware of it. But to most people, they're not going to recognize him, which I think is great, because what that does is sets zero expectations for how this guy is going to play this role. I think James Gunn knows casting. In the MCU kills their casting all the time. And with what we've seen from Superman that came out this year, the way he found David Corns, I mean, Cornsweet fully embodies Clark. He fully embodies Superman. In my opinion, Nicholas Holt fully embodies Lex Luthor. He is really fun to watch. All the characters.
1A, 1A, 1A.
I know, dude. It's so funny. Lots of people dog that part, and I'm like, come on, like, it's
That was a great part.
Yeah, it was a little goofy, but
It was memed. That's what it was.
yeah,
It was memed, rightfully so, I think. But things that are good can be memed, and just because they're memed, I don't think that makes it like bad or
like
cringy. I
dumb.
don't think it. I don't think it was cringy at all. It was just like that's just who his character was, and it was like wasn't necessarily like epic in a way, but it was over the top for the purposes of being over the top.
Right.
Like because
Yeah.
that's who he is. He's over the top.
Lex Luthor is over the top. In a lot of his iterations, he has been. So yeah, it wasn't surprising to see that. In terms of casting, James Gunn kills it. The casting director, everyone on that team, they know what they're doing, and I'm very excited to see Lars in this. Like I said, zero expectations. I think a lot of people, going into this, especially hearing that maybe Matt Smith could play Brainiac, Sam Rockwell, like two phenomenal actors. And it's like once you get that idea in your head, lots of fans think like, oh, well, it's gonna be one of those. So I'm just gonna focus on that. And like the moment this news comes out, I checked out some of the comments and they're like, man, I would have preferred Matt Smith. It's like, guys, come on. Like you have no idea what's gonna happen. You have no idea if Matt Smith would even have been the right role for this because it's all dependent on how you're casted. It's all dependent on is this actor going to be the best for this role? Because I mean, you've had multiple iterations of Jokers, all wildly different and all fantastic in their own right. And this is just another example of, I mean, you got this guy who I'm sure no one really knows about. You have zero expectations for this character, or zero expectations for this actor coming in to play this well-known character. I think it's going to lead to some very interesting. Um, I think it's going to lead to a very interesting performance because of those zero expectations. So, David, you got any more thoughts on this?
My only thought would be I agree with what you said, where James Gunn knows casting very well. Superman was casted very well. You really felt like the characters that were portraying were the characters in your mind, the perception that you have of them was perfectly aligned with the casting in a way. So this is definitely a big role, and you got to nail it. So really looking forward to seeing what work that Lars is going to put out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think in terms of looks, like his smile right there, like I could literally see him as Brainiac. There were a few more shots I had. Like, I mean, he just has the facial structure that I could totally see. Like, you just put some green paint on him, you put some holes around him. Like, yeah,
Dang, he
I
looks
could.
like a cool villain.
He right, like visually,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a great shot from one of the comics. Visually, you could do a lot of cool things, and like when it comes to James Gunn, you think of wild, bombastic ideas that work in a crazy way, and Brainiac is a perfect example of one of those characters that he could use to his full ability, visually and narratively. I'm excited for him to tackle this. It's interesting with Gunn and how it's because I'm pretty sure he's directing this, and being a studio head, if you're he's directing, he's writing this, but he's also a studio head, so he has a lot of responsibilities, and a lot of people are thinking like, is he putting too much on his back? Because I mean, you think of like Kevin Feige, like he's the guy running all MCU, but he's not directing any films. So you imagine running an entire, film franchise, running an entire studio while directing, like that's pretty intense.
Hmm.
So I commend James Gunn on his workability and his just sheer will to get these done. Because even with Superman, I was wildly impressed. I loved Superman so much that I could tell he poured his heart and soul in it, and he had to because he had to revive the DC franchise. It was, dead in the water from the Snyderverse, and he totally revived it, made a lot of money, and hopefully that continues with Man of Tomorrow coming 2027. So they start filming this in April next year. So it's
Cool.
coming up. Yeah,
I will
man.
say, with what you said about how much work he's doing, that does concern me a little bit, simply because there's only so much time. And if you
Yeah.
can't devote the time that you need to for something, quality might suffer. So that a little concerning to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on the directing aspect and really pouring the heart and soul of it into it, he's doing all these other things in regards to it. That does concern me a little bit about the future. Still looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, I think Man of Tomorrow, if I had to guess, would be his not his last you know, directed film. I think he's gonna take a break after Man of Tomorrow. Because Man of Tomorrow in itself, it's because it's just called Man of Tomorrow as far as we know. It's not Superman Man of Tomorrow. So it seems like he's kind of ramping these characters to build. I mean, of course, they're building towards a Justice League of some sort. And as he's building Superman, I think he's going to hand off the baton to someone else, and they'll take the reins. Because I mean, there's no way he could direct, films while he's directing the studio. I mean, that's just got to be so strenuous and so stressful and all that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with James Gunn and DCU. I'm excited for everything coming from that studio. We got Lanterns coming next year. We got Supergirl coming next year. Hope some Batman news next year on who's going to play Batman. Everyone is going crazy over that, speculating who that could be. I think it could be Brandon Sklenar. David, you probably don't know his name, but if you see him, you'll definitely think, yeah, he could be Batman. He's
All
got
right.
he's got the structure. He's got the face. He's a big
The
guy.
throat.
I don't know. Does he? I don't know about that. Uh, but yeah, lots of cool stuff coming in the coming years for the DCU. Can't wait for it. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are with Lars being casted as Brainiac. Curious to hear your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we are getting into something very neat. We're going back to the world of Pandora with Avatar and Fire and Ash. I was able to see it last night. And wow, yeah, going into Avatar Fire and Ash, it's funny because we've talked about it on the show before. It's just the phenomena that Avatar is and why it's interesting that it's like it's kind of the fashionable thing to hate. Uh, Yet it's made billions of dollars. Um, it's just really wild what this franchise keeps doing consistently. We got two of these films are in the top three of biggest box offices, and Fire and Ash could easily do that again with coming into probably the top 10, if not higher. But I can confidently say after coming out of this film, it totally delivers. It's funny, like with the first, in like the first maybe 5 minutes, I always say to myself, Avatar, like there's just still something about this that maybe I'm not clicking with. I'm like, all right, we're back with the Soul Leaf clan, like we're hanging out with them. And then, some action sequences pop up, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Because the way they drop you into this world again, it's just, I mean, it's familiar, yet they show off some really neat visuals and they draw you back in with these wonderful characters. And they bring in some new characters with Varang, who is the Ash Queen kind of girl. And she is very spicy and in all sorts of ways. She is awesome to watch. She is pretty sweet in her abilities and how, like, the whole Ash clan, I'm pretty sure they're called like the Ash tribe or whatever, but the way they go into them and show their ways and how they navigate Pandora and why they're doing what they're doing was compelling. And she has some great character moments, even though she is pretty or like radicalistic, like she's wild, just fun to watch. But you get some really good moments with her, and I mean, yeah, it was an overall a really really sweet film. Again, it's just really crazy how they keep doing this. How I mean, it's like you can never bet against Jimmy C. Jimmy C will show you what's up because
Jimmy
he's got
C.
he's got the visuals. He's got this great cast of characters. What's funny because coming off of Way of Water, thinking about some of the characters, and we did end up losing one of the Sully kids, and this film comes directly after Way of Water. Like they started right after Way of Water, pretty much. And you're following these characters as they're dealing with grief, which was really nice to see. Just them trying to overcome that, and that story thread is within this entire film in a really neat way. And throughout that, you get some great moments with some characters that you saw from Way of Water. It's like, well, is this character ever going to develop in a certain way? Or like, why is this character here and why have we not dealt with certain things in Way of Water? Well, we deal with them in Fire and Ash. I was very very intrigued by Spider, the human character. And like coming off of Way of Water, Spider was never my favorite because he was that like oddball guy because he's the only guy who's with the avatars. Like visually, it's very jarring. And seeing him in Fire and Ash, yeah, Spider's the real deal. In a way, Fire and Ash is kind of like his film, which is really neat because you have Quaritch, which I love Quaritch. Stephen Lang who plays Quaritch. Golly, I love that guy. I mean, just like the way he says stuff, and he's just he's so badass. And of course, like he gets a really cool paint job in this too because he's in like some of the fire, like the red and the ash cool visuals. It's just he looks badass. Um, but yeah, you have like a great storyline with him and Spider, and then Jake and Spider. So lots of great things connected. Sigourney Weaver's character, we get a lot of great stuff with her in this film where it's like that they kind of go unanswered in Way of Water, and you get more of that in Fire and Ash. It's like, okay, um, she's something. And again, I think this, I mean, the Avatar films just always surprise me. It's just always like, of course, I'm going to say it's a spectacle. These films are always a spectacle. They just deliver the visual. They know what you want. And like in terms of the visual, I wouldn't say there was anything super groundbreaking. There wasn't any like particular scenes in this that really blew my mind because it sucks to say it's like we're so used to the Pandora now. It's kind of lost its magic a little bit, but
Mm.
still what still carries the torch for this film for me are the characters and how they go through their grief. Zoe Saldana as Neytiri is so special. She always delivers a fantastic performance. Sam Worthington as Jake Sully, he's always badass. He's great. Like I said, the Jake Sully and Quaritch moments are so fun. This film does not slouch in that, and his kids are great. So all in all, I'd say this film was a win. I hope it makes the big bucks because I want to see some more. And I will say, after seeing 3 Avatar films, it is a very satisfying trilogy. And I think if they were to end it here, I think I think that'd be fine, which I don't think they're going to because I know Cameron wants to make some more. I think they're going until 5, but
Really?
yeah, that's yeah, we'll see. But David, what's your hype level for Avatar: Fire and Ash?
I was very hyped for Way of Water, probably more so just because I never saw the original Avatar, and this had been 13 years since the second Avatar, and it just quietly made like a couple billion, I think, or
Yeah, yeah, over 2 billion. I think it was like
that's
2.8, 2.9,
ins that's insane.
a
That
little
is
bit.
insane. Yeah, and like you said, they're surprising in many different ways. I mean, Jimmy C literally changes the industry, seems like, with every one of these new Avatar films.
Yeah.
And despite like people hating it for, I just don't know how you can. If you like go to the theater, like how bad can the story possibly be where you come out of an Avatar movie like, oh, like what? Like this is crazy to me.
I know.
Again, James Cameron completely redefines the industry every time one of these movies comes out. And his did you get to the part of the Joe Rogan podcast with Robert Rodriguez when he was talking about James Cameron?
No, I didn't see that part.
So he was talking about him. I think he did call him Jim. I think he did.
Okay.
Um, and he would say he talked about the creative aspect of filmmaking and the technical aspect of filmmaking. He said something he would say is the creative spirit, right? It's inside all of us. And
Yeah.
it can flow out. You just gotta kind of let it come out. And the technical side is a much more like hard skill of repeated actions and repeated, a lot of knowledge and learning about the cameras and like a lot of technical skill, engineering, really.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you have both of those, you get James Cameron, essentially, is he has the creative spirit that is just flowing out of him, right? But his technical knowledge is, I mean, it's the best. It's the best in the industry. He is the number one guy for something like that, right? Technical, in
Hmm.
terms of the technical ability of making movies. Where a lot of people, and maybe some people, probably more like Robert Rodriguez, is like more of like the creative type.
Okay.
He's a very technical person. I don't want to obviously harp on that guy because he's done a lot of very like out of the box technical feats in terms of movies.
Yeah.
And what you think about who's number one? That's Jimmy C.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting take to think about directors in that way of like, do they lean more of the creative side or do they lean more of the technical side? That's actually really sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna go into other directors thinking that now, just to like see what side they lean towards. Because when I think of like say James Gunn, that's more the creative side for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
then we think of someone like Nolan. Man, I feel like he's pretty technical, but I guess maybe I'd put Nolan more technical. I'd say.
Maybe. Yeah, I would say he's very creative also with like not necessarily cinematography, but the story. Like he's very creative with that. And
Yeah.
it seems like some directors are more creative with like the cinematography, the way things look, and not so much focusing on the story, the writing,
Hmm.
where Nolan is like, maybe you could call it even technical about the writing, like, going
Yeah.
this way. I mean, with Interstellar, like the world learned more about like space and time because of Interstellar. That's how crazy of a movie that was.
Yeah.
And that comes from like a technical aspect in terms of the writing. But I would say even definitely the visuals for sure. I mean, there were memes about when the Odyssey tickets released and like the news broke that like, Matt Damon's, looking at a real life Cyclops because no one doesn't want to use CGI.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, a few things more I forgot to touch on was the length of the film. Because it was 3 hours, and going into a film to a theater that had no recliners for 3 hours is tough. But I was fine because 3 hours, the way James, or I was supposed to say James Gunn, the way Jimmy C uses pacing, like like for pacing to work, you kind of have to like for I guess for me when I define pacing is like when the like the film's runtime works for you, and coming after seeing Fire and Ash, I'm like the whole thing worked. The pacing worked for me. It didn't feel boring in moments. It didn't feel too chaotic in moments. I think it was beautifully paced, beautifully edited, and I think if you have a film that could do those two, that's probably half the battle because you want to keep audiences engaged, you want to keep their attention. And like me, sitting in a chair that's not a recliner for 3+ hours is tough. And I can happily say I was very pleased. Even there are moments because there's multiple big sequences in this film and one that's long. Um, it's very very sweet. So sitting through those sequences, like my brain's like, okay, like I was locked in, like about 15 minutes in, and then after like a big sequence comes, I'm like, okay, I'm I could sit here for another hour, and then like another sequence comes, I'm like, I could sit here for another hour. It's like the way Jimmy C envelops the audience in his films, he just knows what to do, and everyone on that film, the crew, cast and crew, they know what they're doing. So I'm here for more Avatar. I've definitely been converted to a lover of these films because it took me a bit because after seeing Avatar 1, I was like, okay. After seeing Way of Water, I was like, okay. And then Fire and Ash, I'm like, yep, okay. So that's my review of Fire and Ash. Let us know if you're excited for it, if you've seen it, and curious to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, our next topic is something a little spicy because we just got a teaser for Doomsday ahead of Avatar. So I saw Avatar last night. We filmed this on Saturdays. Going into Avatar, I was privy of two things: the Doomsday teaser and the Odyssey prologue. Now, unfortunately, like I told David before the show, man, I was so salty I couldn't see the rest of the Odyssey prologue because I was a little late to it. I saw like the last minute. I was super salty. From what I saw, David looked epic. The music, everything was sweet. Hopefully, I'll get to see it next week, and we'll talk about it on the show next week. But so we saw the Odyssey preview, and then right after that, there were some trailers. I was like, okay, I know there's a Doomsday teaser of some sort coming. And I was already aware of what this teaser was going to be because, of course, leaks came out. I feel like with a film like Avengers, any Avengers film, you're going to fight leaks no matter what. And it was everywhere. So I already knew Captain America was involved in this somewhat. And from what I've been hearing, it was kind of a quick teaser, just showing Captain America showing up to a home and carrying a baby. It's like, okay. And I guess that's just it. So once the teaser showed for me at my screening of Avatar, I was like, okay, here we go. And I was very curious on how the audience would react too. Because I'm like, okay, and my audience, my theater was packed. I was like, how are they going to react to this? It's either going to be super excited, either mixed or just silence. And I was very disappointed with the audience reaction because clearly everyone knew it. They knew this was coming. I was like, damn, there's really no surprise left in these teasers coming. And like there's no magic, which is very unfortunate. But
What do you mean? I guess I don't understand.
so what I mean is like as the teaser ended, once the teaser or actually no, okay. So while the teaser was playing, it showed we're the scene opens with what we don't know is Steve Rogers yet, riding on his motorcycle. You hear the Avengers theme on piano. It's just very sweet, very soft. It's like, oh, okay. He gets off his bike. He gets into his house. You see him picking up his Captain America suit. And while this is all happening, I'm like, is the audience in my theater gonna cheer? Is there gonna be some snickering? Is there gonna be some excitement? I hear nothing. And then once we get the reveal of Chris Evans, I'm like, okay, is anyone gonna react to nothing? I'm like, oh, damn. And then we see him holding a baby. And after that, we get the title card. Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. And then it cuts to a clock of 12 months, however many hours, however many minutes, however many seconds, a countdown clock.
Oh,
So yeah, that's the entire teaser. And while that's happening, I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, I want to hear some excitement from the audience because that means like I feel like not everyone knows of this leaked teaser. And I feel like they all were, or they just didn't care. So
and
that
to
was
be fair, it doesn't sound like that interesting of a teaser.
you're right. That's kind of that's probably the reason because after hearing about the leaks and what this teaser could look like, I was like, okay. And I think going into it, if I didn't know this teaser was coming, I would have been ecstatic because of the sheer surprise. Not that we never thought Chris Evans would return, because I think most of us can agree, yeah, he's probably going to return. Because since Endgame, it's just been such a divisive time and such a definitely the most weird, uncertain time of the MCU has been since Endgame until now. So coming into this teaser, I was looking forward to it, but yeah, like you said, it doesn't sound as exciting. I guess for me, I just wanted to I was just hoping for some good audience chitter chatter, and I did not get that, so I was a little disappointed. But with this teaser, like you said, David, it was a little disappointing, but we do know that in the next 3 weeks we're getting 3 more teasers, and I'm assuming the same format as this. And the word is the next one is Thor, and the word is it could also tie in to the children of the MCU and possibly Doom taking children. That's why each of these teasers are focusing on kids. So that's a rumor too, because at the end of Fantastic Four, we see Doom with a little kid with Franklin Richards. Going into this, David, what are your thoughts on this teaser and I guess the idea behind it? If you think this rollout was necessary to maybe garner hype for next year?
I think with a movie as big as Avengers Doomsday, I think rolling out the teasers is a good test to see kind of what the audience is feeling. and it either was like a really bad teaser and like people didn't care, or people are so bogged down with Marvel that they kind of have lost hype. They kind of have lost. I mean, this is really has to save the current state of the MCU, and they've kind of lost that hype. I mean, it felt like when Infinity War, you know, was coming out, or Endgame, the trailers, people were hyped for it, and ever since then, it hasn't really been the same. I mean, I wonder, they're kind of probably. I mean, maybe they might even make changes. This might not already be set in stone. They might be looking at data. They might be looking at what people are saying, and maybe even trying to adjust, tweak certain things to try to get reaction. Because it like we've talked about, this movie is really trying to save the current state of the MCU and get people hyped about it
It has
again.
to. It
It
has to.
has to. Yeah, it has to. This is the Hail Mary at the end of the game.
No.
And but I have a feeling the reaction that the lack of reaction was due to Marvel. I guess maybe the word would be fatigue. Marvel fatigue. So
Yeah.
you got to create demand. Too much supply. There's too much supply, not for the demand.
Mm-hmm.
And with I mean, you had a lot of Marvel movies in the 2010s, but a lot of them were bangers. And I don't think a lot of people necessarily knew that it all was one cohesive thing of like 22 movies coming together until like Infinity War. Like people really didn't know
Right.
that was like it was all connected. I mean, it ended with Endgame, so people don't really feel like there has been anything meaningful. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a little bit of that reaction, but they're probably pulling data from the audience to see exactly what they might be receiving well
Yeah.
and maybe make adjustments as they go forward.
Right. Yeah. I'm curious if they are just seeing the data for how these audience reacts to each teaser, because I think they're purposely making these teasers not as grand because we do have a year until Doomsday.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean you got plenty of time. I mean, however, I mean what's really cool. Well, I was gonna say Odyssey, but even
That
with
was a good
Odyssey,
teaser though.
it,
Like the
it was
Odyssey teaser a year before back
yeah,
in July was like bro was on an ocean. Like that was insane.
right.
Like that was such a good teaser because you got a visually unbelievable 5 seconds,
You
and then you
but you
got the scene
but
in
but you thought it was visually unbelievable?
yeah.
I thought it was fine. Like I wasn't I mean I will say with this prologue from like the last freaking 2 minutes I saw, that's oh yeah, like that's
Okay.
it.
All right.
But um well it's funny. I feel like my favorite part of that Odyssey teaser was the conversation between Tom Holland and John Bernthal, just them going back and forth. Like they were eating at some
Mhm.
sort of gathering, which the prologue is I think a flashback during that scene because they showed that same scene again at the end
Mm.
of this prologue. So I think that's John Bernthal's character is talking to Tom Holland's character, and I think he's talking about the past. And because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this prologue talks about or it goes over the like the Trojan horse um part of the Iliad. Yeah, I mean with Doomsday coming out next year, I pray that it's good. I would love Marvel to be back because, like you said, this is the Hail Mary. This, I mean, next year we got Project Hail Mary, super excited for. Then we got the Marvel Hail Mary with Doomsday, and it has to be good. This has to save them because we got Secret Wars coming after that. That's going to be huge too. You got to have two big wins, and then after that, who knows? I think people are thinking they're going to go into X-Men, which I'm most likely thinking that's going to happen, which I'm down for. Let's go into X-Men. Let's go into something else. We're going to be done with the multiverse saga, which is great because the multiverse saga has been the most spotty. Because it's
Mm.
story wise, there's so many things you could do. It just gets so crazy with these multiverse ideas and doppelgangers and whatnot. But that's the Doomsday teaser. 104 coming up. We got 3 more. I'm gonna see if I could catch the next 3. We'll see if I could finagle some sneaking ins of different theaters as I see other movies. We'll see. But let us know your thoughts, guys, what you think on the teaser. All right, guys, we're now getting into something pretty interesting, something that was not on my bingo card to watch for next year. We have this film called Nirvana, the movie, the show, the what, the movie, the what, the what. I forgot.
Nirvana, the
Crap.
band, the movie, the show.
There you go. See, it's a confusing title. Yeah, it's I will say what initially got me to click on this trailer was see, I'm a big Conan O'Brien fan, and I listen to his podcast all the time, and I listen to their radio show on Sirius XM, and they were talking about this movie. One of Conan's coworkers, Aaron Blair, he was talking about kind of most anticipated films for next year, and he said Nirvana, the movie, the show, the all that. and, and I was like, okay, that's very interesting because Aaron knows comedy really well, and everyone on Conan's staff is comedically talented overwhelmingly, and I love their sensibilities. So this has got to be something interesting. And what I love about this is the realistic nature of it. I know they did a show, I think it was on Vice TV like years ago, like almost a decade ago, with these two guys, and it's just like essentially um almost I feel like it's in the sense of like a not like Jackass or like Impractical Jokers, but doing these bits in reality and seeing how people react while also creating a narrative within. And that just really fascinated me because I think seeing a film like this in theaters would be pretty interesting because I think you'd get a great audience pop with certain moments that look pretty funny. But I mean, the stunt in this looks ridiculous. Just everything about this just screams wild hilarity and I think a fun time at the theater. David, curious to hear your thoughts on this film, Nirvana.
Yeah, this was very interesting to watch in for the trailer. It felt like a vlog, like a YouTube vlog in a way.
Yeah,
Not necessarily like a found footage, but found footage is designed to be very real but fictional. But this seems like real,
yeah,
like
yeah.
like
Especially
real.
their interactions with certain people because like when the camera's just on them and like how they're talking now, like just how what they're doing just seems so fictitious. But like once they're actually in a setting with, with real people, it's like oh no, this is legit.
Yeah, it looks really funny. The trailer did a good job of presenting something that would be really interesting to see jumping off the Space Needle
Right.
and then into the stadium. They did a good job of presenting that, and hopefully that's not everything. Hopefully that's not the entire movie because it would be really cool to see what else is going on. The
Yeah.
title is kind of like edgy. It kind of like breaks the rules of titles,
Mm.
and I think that's kind of interesting. So I don't know if I'd watch it in the theater necessarily, but it's definitely one that I think probably my wife and I would watch and enjoy.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at some of the comments of the YouTube video, and lots of people were excited for it. They were saying it screened at one of the film festivals, and it got great buzz. So apparently, it delivers. And coming from seeing a lot of Impractical Jokers, and even like Eric Andre, like we've talked about him on the show before. I mean, just that style, that comedic style of run and gun on the street doing crazy shit in front of people never gets old. It's always a good time. And you have that combined with this fictitious story that they're doing. But even though it's fictitious, no, they're still doing a legit thing. So it's like it feels fictitious in a way, but they are achieving the reality of jumping off the Space Needle, all the craziness that ensue with that. But definitely a little film that I wanted to touch on because it's always special coming into a new year of films, and we'll get to a show talking about upcoming films for next year because next year is stacked with lots of variety, lots of action, lots of adventure, suspense. Can't wait to see some more horror films. Very excited. 2026 is going to be a crazy year, and I think in terms of box office, it is on pace to be one of the best years since before the pandemic. So if we can get to that, like, let's go. We need theaters to thrive. I would love for that to happen. So again, like this film coming out next year, uh, it could be a special gem because I think, in a year of a lot of films, like 2026 will be, what really is special is finding those gems that you never thought you'd like. And I love that about every year. I think for me this year was Roofman. I think we'll talk about that in our wrap up show for 2025 for best movies because that was one of my favorite movies this year, starring Channing Tatum. It's just a beautiful story and it comes out of nowhere. Those films that come out of nowhere and that can connect with you and really make you feel an emotional attachment to characters, to the story itself. It's a special feeling. That's why I love film. That's why I love what it does for me and loves what it does for other people. So that is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I'm excited for it. Let us know your thoughts if you are as well. All right, guys, we are getting into something super exciting. We finally know what Spielberg's next film is, and that is Disclosure Day. So I think it was last week we talked about the mysterious poster that they showed. It was like in Times Square. I think it was in LA and some other cities. But we're like, what the hell is this film? Because it's like the best kept secret in Hollywood for up until this trailer drops. But we had no idea what it was going to be about. Was it going to be about aliens? Was it going to be something mysterious, thrillery? And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what we're getting with Disclosure Day. And I was thoroughly satisfied with this trailer. And I know me and David talk about trailers all the time and that, don't reveal too much. Just give us a tone, just give us a rough idea of how it's going to look, edit it in a good way, and get some cool sound design within there as well, some really neat character moments. And I think this film delivered on all of that. For me, this is close to one of my favorite trailers of the year because I was just enthralled by it. I'm assuming John Williams did the score for this trailer. I'm assuming, but there are some certain moments, especially once you get to the crop circles, where it's like it almost kind of feels like a little like Nolan-y, like Christopher Nolan, like with Hans Zimmer. Just certain score moments that like rise, and it's and like just super cool moments that they use with the sound design. I love that. Very neat, cool moments like just switching of a body. Super excited to see Josh O'Connor in this, who's on the rise right now. He was just in the new Knives Out film, the third installment of it, Wake Up Dead Man, which I still need to see, and he plays one of the lead roles in that. And apparently, he's fantastic. I'm aware of his work from Challengers, the Zendaya film he was in, the infamous like threesome Zendaya film that came out a few years ago. He was great in it, and I'm very, very excited to see him in Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day. I'm super excited for this. This is coming out same month as Supergirl next year. So we got some sweet super stuff going on next summer. But David, what's your thoughts on Disclosure Day?
I was also enthralled by this trailer. I watched it like once on my phone when you texted me while I was at work, like, you gotta see it. And I was like,
I was
okay,
like,
I
you
gotta
guys
see
see.
it.
I was like, this is the perfect trailer. It's a perfect trailer.
Yeah. And then I watched it when I got home. I don't know if it was that night, but I watched it like at another point in time on my computer with like my headphones, really trying to like take it in because the sound is really important for this trailer.
Right.
And I also, I can something the trailer does really well is it doesn't. You don't know the time, like where we are in time, because if you notice right there, that shot, like that looks like 2033, like with all these like screens on the like in the newsroom. But
Mm-hmm.
also there was a shot of a guy watching a video on a flip phone.
Yeah, that is
So
something. I was like what? Like, yeah,
that
very, very
that's
questionable.
a very like that's very intentional, the fact that he was
Mhm.
watching a video on a flip phone.
Right.
Like, right? So, and then like there's all these like kind of these shots right here. They're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of, it seems like whatever this technology is brings people to like advances humanity in some way.
Mm.
Um and only some people know about this, and there's a plan to reveal this technology. Animals are somehow involved.
Yeah.
Maybe birds have a very specific role. Maybe certain animals have a specific role because we got that poster that had the bird. It
Mm-hmm.
feels a little Bird Boxian in the way people's eyes change.
Mm.
People saw the monster in Bird Box, their eyes changed colors. So it feels a little Bird Boxian in that way. When
Mm-hmm.
something is revealed, the eyeballs change. So again, this is literally a perfect trailer. You
Yeah.
can't ask for a trailer better. And it gets me hyped. It gets me hyped to see it. I'm
Right.
really, really, really excited for this.
Yeah. Now I was super curious about this shot right here. Like, when I was watching the John Campbell show, one of the guys was like, "It kind of looks like a holiday commercial,
Oh yeah.
like Santa or something like that." Just says something about this screams like a Hallmark holiday commercial or something.
The
Or
answer is
Coca-Cola.
clear.
Absolutely. Oh man. So like what the hell's going on in this shot? We have no idea. Lots of excitement, lots of questions as well, because like we keep saying in trailers, we don't want to know exactly what's happening. Just give us an idea of the tone, show us his cool things in a certain way, and that'll get me hooked. And plus, I mean, you got Spielberg behind it, you got Williams behind it, David Kep. Come on, you got a recipe for some good cooking. I did want to bring up one of the posters. Which one we got? Yeah. So I mean,
It's
again,
got the bird.
the bird. The bird is significant. Yeah, I mean the poster design is really simple too. Like nowadays we get a lot of floating heads. Like that's the standard layout for posters. So, seeing something like this is very refreshing. Got the one with Josh O'Connor too. So he's tied to an elk. Is that an elk? Maybe a buck.
Yeah.
Buck or elk, one of them. So very neat designs.
Go back to the elk.
I could raise it
Those
up.
legs. So those legs look strange to me. Do you see that?
Like the back leg? Or
Yeah,
the
it
front leg?
looks.
Or
I see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which is which, and I'm not. It's kind of got a weird bend. Like that wouldn't be a front leg or a back leg. That like kind of bendy. It looks broken, to be honest.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah, I'm not sure if their anatomy is supposed to do that. I feel like it is.
I don't know. Could just be grasping at the Phantom
Spielberg and
Menace here.
Strogs. Yeah. What?
The Phantom Menace.
We said completely different things. I said Spielbergian straws. You say
I
Phantom
said the Phantom Menace.
All right. All right, guys.
This looks like the last.
Oh, yeah.
This looks like the last poster, but the eye is now. You see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only difference was that was an upside down eye. And
That's
this
true.
one is right side up. More questions, but all will be answered in the summer of next year. Just coming up. All right, guys, let us know if you're excited for Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg and John Williams next foray. Let's go. Let us know your thoughts. I had no idea was coming. I was looking through YouTube, saw a thumbnail for something called Digger announcement trailer or announcement teaser. So we'll get into this. Coming to us from Variety, Tom Cruise and Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu's new movie titled Digger sets October 2026 release date. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu wholly anticipated next film starring Tom Cruise has set a fall release date and unveiled its evocative title, Digger. A first poster and teaser for Warner Bros. And Legendary Entertainment Film was revealed today, with the tagline describing the movie as a comedy of catastrophic proportions. It will release on October 2nd. Here we go. Cruise stars as Digger Rockwell. While the exact plot is still under wraps, Warner Bros. Provided an enigmatic logline describing Cruise's character as the most powerful man in the world who embarks on a frantic mission to prove that he is humanity's savior because the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything. The ensemble cast also includes Sandra Hüller, John Goodman, Michael Stuhlbarg, Jesse Plemons, which I love, Sophie Wilde, Riz Ahmed, and Emma Darcy. She's great too. Digger is Cruise's first film since signing a deal to develop and produce theatrical films with Warner Bros. Discovery in January. His last project with the studio was Edge of Tomorrow a decade ago. Wow, that's crazy.
That
That
was
was
a
his
good
last
movie.
project with them. That was a great movie. I know everyone thought it was called like Live, Die, Repeat, but it's Edge of Tomorrow.
Because that was on like the poster or something.
It was like Live, Die, Repeat. That was the whole poster. Yeah, that's why. All right. Yeah, we got Digger. Man, it was like so the moment like we got the names or the moment like the direct and so the director of this directed The Revenant, which I know that was a very high regarded film. I still haven't seen that. That was with Leo DiCaprio. Yeah, once his name popped up in this trailer, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not aware of this guy. I'm not aware of this director, so I'm
So
not
is
sure.
this Tom Cruise right here?
Yeah, right? This
That
shot's beautiful. It's crazy.
it is, but how is that Tom Cruise?
That's the thing. That's what has got me about this film. It's just I think it's gonna tie into are you familiar with Tropic Thunder?
No.
So it was Tropic Thunder was a really fun film that came out. It was around like 2010-ish. Ben Stiller, I think he wrote it, directed it. I think he directed it, but it was a wonderful band of a wonderful band of characters. Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. was in blackface.
Oh, I remember seeing
Yep.
clips of that.
Yeah, it's a hilarious film. So Tom Cruise plays a character called Les Grossman in it, and he has full-on prosthetics of looking as a much older version of himself, but still different. Like he's balding, he has a full beard, glasses. It's a completely transformative role that is still shocking to this day because to see his acting chops within this character was fantastic. And a lot of people want to see a Les Grossman movie. There was talks that a Les Grossman movie was coming because a lot of fans are super eager to see something like that happen. And unfortunately, it hasn't came into fruition yet. But this is kind of like a it's what seems like a Les Grossman-esque character that he's gonna play because it does not look like Tom Cruise, even though we don't see his face, but like his physicality,
But he moves.
right? His
Yeah.
movement is very interesting. So yeah, David, yeah, what's your thoughts on this little tease of Digger?
Well, it's interesting because I think I initially saw like an ad on Instagram for it, and I was like, "This is a movie? Like, like,
Like, yeah, like what is it?
what is this? This seems strange." I scrolled past, and then I saw like a couple other ads, and then we're talking about in the for the show, and I saw the teaser, and I still was like, "What the heck?" I had no idea what's going on. That article that you read, makes a little more sense. A lot of big names and something I haven't seen Tom Cruise in personally. Tom Cruise has always been the action guy. He's always sprinting in every movie,
Mission
and he's doing
Impossible.
crazy Mission and Posh, Top Gun, doing crazy stunts. I mean, this looks like a crazy stunt right here. If this is Tom Cruise, like walking on along
I bet
here,
he did it. Absolutely.
but I also loved the kind of the graphic, but the motion graphics of the text at the end of that. That was really cool actually. Kind of it set a kind of a tone as to where this movie kind of feels. I'm excited to see more. I think I'm not like hooked on what this like is gonna be. I think I probably would want to see like more of a real trailer to kind of understand. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, so like with the Les Grossman of it, because I know before Tom Cruise played that character in Tropic Thunder, he was in a very precarious state of his like prowess in Hollywood. I know there was I'm not sure exactly what happened around that time, but he was in a very interesting state. Like people weren't really giving him respect in a certain way, and he wasn't. I don't know. There was something weird going on during that time. But then once he played Les Grossman, Like, it flipped everything. They're like, "Holy
Mm.
shit, like, this guy is legit." Because I think they were thinking of him kind of in one way, and then once he plays this Les Grossman character, it's like, wow, completely transformative, completely changed the script for his acting ability. And it seems like with this Digger character, we're getting kind of a similar situation. And like coming off of something like Mission Impossible or Top Gun, to see him completely flip to something like this is awesome. I love seeing actors do something that doesn't seem like the norm for them. So with Digger, I think we're gonna get a really fabulous, funny performance from him. I'm super excited for it. I know we also have the next Top Gun come because that is coming at some point. So, it's
Oh,
gonna be funny seeing like him play this character in Digger and then, come back to being Maverick in Top Gun. Um, yeah, I think I myself was a little overhyped for this because I don't know. I think the possibilities for this film are just not endless, but like just super exciting for me. Just to see Tom Cruise play this type of character. I mean, just to come from being Ethan Hunt to this Digger character is super fascinating. So, I mean, and also, coming from the director who directed The Revenant, yeah, I'm not too aware of this guy's work, but I need to check out The Revenant at some point. I know it's a
I
very
mean, that's a
high.
very serious film to my knowledge.
I know, right? Very serious, and it comes to a film like this is, I mean, it sounds very neat. You got a director that might not do something like this, and then our lead actor who doesn't do something like this that often. I know I wanted to touch a little bit back on some of the visuals in this, especially. I mean, like even the style of this is super. I don't know, like very odd in its framing. It's very intentional, especially. I mean, it's a very open, like you get a lot of airiness, like an airy vibe within these shots. I mean, that's just so open.
Hmm.
And it's like I think with the shot like that, you can really centralize on the protagonist. Like he's either a little man in this big world or this world is his. Just super. I mean, I think the word of this film for me is just fascinated. Like, what is this film gonna be? Um, And then especially, yeah, like you said with the motion graphics, it's just super comic-y and very, poppy. So, super excited to see what this film brings to us in theaters. Again, we keep talking about 2026. This could be that surprise gem that caught everyone off guard that's gonna really excite us, because that's a special feeling. So, all right, we are down with this is episode 9 of the Rich Salad Show, almost coming on 10 episodes, which is exciting. It's crazy how fast we've gone through these. All started with an idea, and here we are, almost 10 episodes in, seeing how it's going. David, what you're thinking of some cool news we got today?
some really cool stuff. I'm most excited for Disclosure Day. Definitely, I've got to find a way to see Fire and Ash in theaters, despite my extremely limited schedule. Um, but yeah, really excited. Really excited for some of these movies. Again, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you. Looking forward to some future apps.
Absolutely. Let's get it. In 2026, we're doing a lot more of this. We'll see where it goes. Always trying to improve every episode. Let us know your thoughts, what you thought of this show, and we will see you next time